Hi, I'm Claire and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, I'm an Irish YouTuber from Ireland. If you do know me, thanks for coming back. 6 years ago I made a video called Can Irish People Speak Irish? And that video has gotten an insane amount of views in the last 6 months. So I figure that there is an appetite for a follow-up. So I talked to a number of people hailing from Northern Ireland about the Irish language. Bear in mind this video has been made in the middle of the phase out of coronavirus restrictions here in Ireland. And that's why this video was done on Zoom. Please like this video if you like it and subscribe to the channel. Also, one last thing before we get into the meat of the video. It was a popular request from the last video that I make the subtitles optional. So what I've done is I've added the subtitles as a subtitle track instead of editing them into the video. So hopefully that makes everyone happy. You can enable the captions if you need the translations, and if you don't and you want to listen to the Irish, try to understand the Irish without having to see the subtitles, you can also do that. And last but not least, the same intro that I gave to you in the video, Can Irish People Speak Irish? Yes, Ireland has its own language. It's called Irish in English, and in Irish it's called Gaeilge. Make sense? Okay, let's go. Gwitch.
Hi, Kajimmer Taxi.
It's just good after.
I've never actually used Zoom before, so.
Really?
I went to a Catholic school where it was compulsory to learn Irish for 3 years before GCSEs. As far as I'm aware, most Catholic schools around my area would have been compulsory to do. You did your French, some people did Spanish, and my school didn't. And then you did Irish for like at least 3 years, and then you could decide to keep it on.
Drastal me van school agus van school like trí van na Gaeilge ach bhí sin chun de Winacon so sin, you know, sa jazzcart.
Níor drola mé Gaelic sco, ní roshi ar fáil. Níor hosig mé a fum I garts go dtí beidir chá bliain ó hin. Rinne mé an cursa sin ó Future Learn.
Future Learn.
Yeah, Future Learn.
So I had never heard of Future Learn before talking to Judith about it, but after it came so highly recommended, I reached out to Future Learn and asked if they would be willing to work with me on this video. And so, if you would like to sign up to Future Learn to learn Irish, there's a link down in the description. This video is not sponsored by Future Learn, but it is an affiliate link, so I will earn a small commission on the amount of sign-ups. So it's a great way to support my channel if you enjoy my content, and also learn Irish, because everyone's always asking me how to learn Irish, and I never have an answer. So now I do. Link to sign up for Future Learn down in the description.
Tá mé mahóní a Girón, agus is muintir Gaeilge Mwami, mar sin lór muid gedabog Gaeilge, nar bhí meid fásan níos ach mar dúirt me dul me Gaeilge ar scol den chud mó agus sa Gaeltacht. Hui me an Gaeltacht gan de dún an al, gach saru ó bhí me Ian blian jeg dis no harter sin agus hatin and taishin gomorlum.
Vi me kulpa focal near vi me mahoney sustech. Bagam vi me mahoney congadacto chak tavern eranach. Near honic me Gaeilge gaji in the honic me insha. Win me will GCSE taresh 3 blina agus vishe J blian o hin.
Rugame first took me in Akala Belfast, so her Conde and trauma. Quidges mode in a dini mabalas like in a Iantox day, so like re protestuna. So Nero more on Sweeney like and will more on Gaelic Hartenshaw such Brasnake show.
Nero galore ochina nervy misha in the pasta con dollar skull agus an Gaeilge olam agus ag an am seo Nero shidig Nero Gaeilge few like over sa skolna sa tushkart ach toshid you know toshid a wad nís far inish ach you know to galore for burst genov.
Hui me na rangana Gaeilge part damsha in Irhavo first year. Ta and plus Orois Gaeilge olam. Vina ranga da Sir and Eska. Kill me hain, why not? Ken for nach will Gaeilge olam.
Fair enough, yeah.
This Bergst in a Tushmahori and a Protestuni, so Hogame mar Protestunach, agus Nero in Gaelic Aku. Neuravimi an oak Megark or you know CBBC CITV ach RT agus TG Care agus Dinish mo wahardu amegan Sajera and Clar like the Den bhí siad ag slán agus bhí méid ag slán arás. So bhí sin a bhí an na focail na céad focail a bhí méid ra na céad focail Gaelic slán.
Like an bhfuil tú ábalta just
Is féidir le like a fiocchi suas mar ábhar eile ach like chuid sin na scoil na ní féidir le níl minseoir an chun an Gaeilge a dhéanamh le céid tú duine ag an eile áil like taobh muid an scoil chun é ólam.
We've got Scorn and Og, which is like a GAA competition where you compete for like your local GAA club and do like singing, like solo singing, ceilidh dancing, novelty act. Like all the singing would be done in Irish, the novelty act would be spoken in Irish and stuff. But as far as I know, or at least what I was introduced to, that was all there was Irish-wise, you know, where I lived. And then apart from that, just doing it in school for 3 years.
Ní hé sin agus rá bhfuil an dearcú is a jazzcart nó sa tuiscart bhfuil ceannaú níos fearr na chéile ach tá siad cineál just difriúil agus sílim bhfuil buint nach bog ag an córas éideachas lei sin. So mar dúsa sa tuiscart níú an Gaeilge réachtanach mar aber scola mar sin ré a bhí an dúine i gcónaí ré ar deanga ólam ar deanga náisiúnta ré seaasa suas agus ra scíal tánam tá mé broadú as na teanga agus tá mé go fólam faoin ar cultúr agus faoin ar star agus tá rudí sin milltena táach in ar soí agus teagmuid sin.
Bhí má bád don Common Gaelic i máscoil. Níros ag na daoine eile sa Common gorómé ima protestantach, so bhí sé orm like hannig amach mar protestant. Níró ein fab acu leis.
In Milhurste, tá seans galore. Agus úsáid goilge an sin. I used to use it a lot when I near bhí mé honey in Milhurste, but Neil Shan's go minic faoi láthair.
Well gáir I Milhurste ach áitina eile níl sé fiú like níos muoine an den ar bé faoi an Gaeilge nó ní bhaile ólam nó ní ceapan sé go bhfuil sé tábhachtach, you know. Mana bhfuil tú a géirí be páirteach den cultúr nó nachhfuil sim agad fiú teangacha teaglam sin ach just ceapan go bhfuil sé tábhachtach chun be páirteach de culture agus star an na tíre seo.
Yeah, gone doubt.
It sounds really silly, but I'd say personally, like I find myself like a wee bit embarrassed that I can't speak it. I mean, yes, I had it in school and I like had the option to do it for GCSE. It was very hard, and because it was just doing it in school, there wasn't a lot of things to do outside of it, so you weren't really, you know, practicing it as much as, you know, you might with anything else. But like I really wish I could speak it. And I do, like at the minute I'm like trying to teach myself on like this like language app, and I wish that there were more outlets from it.
Tásam ghfuil cultúrán in Milhurste agus bíon lán am tíarsúil sin. Clisim ghfuil glóir am tíarsúil in nura fásta agus tásam ghfuil Gaelchaiste ghura in nura agus an chéad cineál drám de scóirí a hánig fríd an cóirsin tá siad san ag bogu ra ag an óscoil agus ag scúdithe ard level inis. So tá cineál glúan nua de héla góirí óga ag teach fríd an cóirsin agus sílim cinnte bhfuil áfiohan na Gaeilge ar siúil faoi láthair sa tuaisceart tá mar de cinnte gur bhí Belfurste, tá is cineál at lárnach Belfurste do demachtaí de Gaeilge ach sin é tá mé sé inta dúchasach faoi háithí na Gaeilge sa tuaisceart caiimera.
Rudí ag géirí níos fearr ach tá bíon daoine cineálta aisteach chun fáhfuil tú ag fálam Gaeilge an bhfuil tú ag láir bí de caiisteach rugga mé in Éireann rugga mé sa réachtaithe fásta, so tá mé Breitneach agus maithim Breitneach agus Éireannach. Níor dul mé Gaeilge chun rebellion against Tushmahari nor again.
Stoke go ro like facial rod political exam one of Nick Ham go well she rod political in ish, you know, just Captain go well Dini sort of like to like bias on almost just Captain Dini not well she agus Nick she daily in Punchen Olam. So I feel like it's their if you're coming from an Irish school and you're going to college in the north, it's like you can sort of bring your own thoughts on Irish to it, maybe trying to like convince everyone else to try to learn it, and I feel like that's actually working. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of showing people that it's not actually that hard, and it's just a nice thing to have, you know.
Dini will Ian Gaeilge or Forby couple of focal no will Gaelic leaf focal is few more mata pasti ogagat Gaelic lords just na pasti sin maar sin and doy is can Alani and Changa right.
I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, you might like the original Can Irish People Speak Irish, or you might like my series of Irish language videos on my channel. There are a number of ways to support this channel. You can like, subscribe, support me on Patreon, buy me a coffee on Ko-fi, or as discussed earlier in the video, you can sign up to Future Learn using my link down in the description. Okay, gur míle maith agat for watching this video, and see you in the next one. Slán.